We just completed our 10-day trip around Borneo, and often people ask, how did you do that on a motorbike with two people? Like, the motorbike we're on is a 125cc Honda, like basically a scooter. If you call it a motorbike, it's being generous. And people always ask, like, how do you do that with two people and your luggage, and like, how does all that work? And it's something that we've done a lot of motorbike trips. We did a Vietnam trip, we did trips in Myanmar, we did trips in Taiwan, we did smaller trips in the Philippines and stuff where we're using these little scooters to go just multi-day trips, and we're contained within it. We did the Indonesia one. That was our first time to do that, actually. Anyway, so people are like, how the hell do you manage to get so much stuff onto a bike? And the answer is, like, we really don't have that much stuff, and that's kind of like, that's the key. So I'm going to show you, we're gonna show you together like what we're bringing, basically. And it's going to be kind of informal. I'm not going to go item by item. I'm going to give you an idea. So if you're trying to pack for something like this, it gives you like a direction that you can go in to try to figure out like, what can I bring or what can I not bring, is really, I think, more what the answer is. And we've laid some stuff out here, and I'm just going to start by showing you basically what everything gets contained into. And that is Gerber's bag. Its name is Gerber. It's 40 liters, and it's an REI bag. And if you go look at a 40-liter bag, like, these aren't very big. This is pretty small. You'll see some people like backpacking, and they have these big, huge bags that are like much, much, much larger, twice the size of this. But when we bought our bags originally, when we went around the world, we really tried to buy something small. And like, we both got bags. Mine's a little bit bigger than hers, but honestly, I wish I had probably got something like this instead. And this you've changed your bag. You don't use your old bag anymore. Yeah, I really don't use my big round the world trip bag anymore. I use a much smaller bag. So this is what we have done the motorbike trip with. This is the only piece of like luggage that we are carrying. And it works very well. It's very dirty. I'm feeling kind of gross touching it, but it's very functional. And I'll let Katie, I think, show a little bit more about what she likes with it, because this is something she is like intimate. You become intimately familiar with your bag. She is intimately familiar with this. So actually, you want to show you that now?
Yeah,
okay.
Do it now.
So I'm gonna throw the bag down and.
All right, so just like. You end up knowing where all the zippers are, all the zippers that don't work, all the parts that you could do this with that, or you could try and do this. This is a great bag because it's got a lot of compartments, but not so many that like you made them useless. When we're on the bike, I actually use this as the accessible pocket because it's on the tip, and when we wrapped it on the bike, we wrapped bungee cords here and bungee cords here, so that made this accessible. And what goes in there? Wet wipes. You're gonna get gasoline all over your hands, you're gonna get crap all over you, and some other odds and ends like plastic bags and whatnot, which is very important. Ziploc bags bring as many as you can fit into any pocket that is possible. I never bring enough. A large inner bag, and I prefer that the inner bag actually open quite far down. Some bags will have it so it only zips from the side, or it'll only open from the top, so you're packing down into this like cylinder almost, and I find that very terrible. That's how Eric's old bag worked, and I thought it was bad.
You learned to love it.
No, I didn't.
I did. Well, no, when you use it.
oh, not me.
Yeah, I did.
Just once you use it.
Yeah.
Okay, mine actually has some side zippers you can put some crap in, side zippers you can put some crap in. We actually aren't hauling enough for me to care about those pockets. That's important.
Yeah, this isn't even full.
No, it wasn't. The inner pocket is full, but other things weren't.
Something else on the outside that you're forgetting is you have
these water pockets.
You can put water there. That's amazing.
Bottles.
I'll never buy a bag that can't do that.
Yeah.
Again.
We do bring in a pillowcase.
Why?
Pillowcase is good for laundry when you take it to the laundromat, because then it's not like some important bag that you really care about. And also, if you're on a bus or this is outside, well, I do sleep on the back of the bike. If you need a pillowcase, you just stuff some like your jacket or something in there, and then you've got a pillowcase.
Or a pillow.
A pillow.
Yeah.
Headlamps are in this pocket. A bunch of odds and ends like locks and hair ties and other things are in here. And this is sealable, so it's not gonna fall out. You can put all your little things in there. My glasses, which I never wear, and a
First aid kit.
First aid kit with diarrhea medicine, which is the most important for us, and bandages, which is the second most important.
Yeah, and I mean, we don't have a whole lot more in there, do we?
No. And then the most wonderful thing, and I think one of the things that made Gerber better than your bag when we started going, is that it has this weatherproofed jacket that can go over it, and it's not waterproof, it's just very thin and wicks away water. It's resistant, but I'd imagine if we got caught in a pretty big downpour, it would soak through quite good. But that's where our ponchos came in. And what I would do on the back of the bike is I would just put the back of my poncho.
You can open that if you want.
Oh, and actually this one's quite funny.
So the poncho is it's inside of a very cheap dry sack. So this will keep rain out, but if you threw it in the river, I think it might leak. We have a whole bunch of them for very different reasons.
Bunch of them.
And
here,
this is our poncho.
This is our poncho, and we actually spent an entire day riding with it, and it got shredded.
The wind just destroyed it.
And so we're throwing these away today. We don't plan on doing any more motorbike riding, so those are going in the trash.
Well, not today anyways.
Well,
we'll be back in the future, dude.
Yeah, oh totally. We'll get new ponchos. We've had those ponchos since 2009. They're almost like 7 years old, and they've served us very well. Things that would go into the large compartment of Gerber would be the ponchos, if we're moving around. This contains all of my pants and underwear and bras and socks and
just
shorts.
Can you roughly guess how many pairs of things you have in there?
I've got like 6 pairs of underwear, 3 bras, 2 pairs of socks, 1 long, 1 short, a pair of pants that are in here, and another pair of pants that I'm wearing, and shorts for sleeping in. I did actually bring more clothes, but they are with the bike people.
But only like a skirt.
This is slimming it down to what I need to function. And that's all I need to function. T-shirts, I think I brought 5 total, and I bought an extra.
Most of them are in the dirty clothes right now.
Dirty clothes. And so this is like another dry sack, but what's great about this is you can kind of vacuum seal it. You can get it as small as you possibly can, and it'll usually hold all of our dirty clothes. We're not spilling into another bag.
And it keeps the stink in.
Stink in. It smells terrible in there.
Yeah.
Another part, 1 long sleeve shirt. It's important. You're gonna, on a bike ride, more than likely one of the reasons that you're on a bike is because you're gonna be going to a mountain. And maybe not you're on a bike, but that's usually one of the appealing things when you go on one of these treks, is that a mountain's gonna happen somewhere.
It's cold up there.
And it is cold. Yesterday we were at Mount Kinabalu, and I had on this jacket, which is another thing for keeping warm. I had on my long sleeve shirt and another shirt. And I had on these pants and tights underneath, and I was still cold. But I'm a cold person.
The other thing, long sleeve shirts on a bike keep the sun off you.
Yeah, Eric's arms are quite burnt right now.
Yeah, I can show you actually. But
yeah, we've been wearing...
Show my arm. Like,
we have been wearing...
No, take the camera.
Oh, okay.
So these don't fit me, but these keep the sun off me, which is basically what I want. This is a Airism by Uniqlo, and it is one of those things, kind of like Under Armour, kind of like wicks away the sweat or whatever, keeps you cool. And you can see, maybe, is it not so obvious now? Maybe
wow, it's almost like,
this whole area, I didn't wear it yesterday, was this bright red from getting burned. I think the lighting in here,
I can see it a little bit, it's coming through a little bit.
Yeah. So,
yeah,
long sleeves is a good thing, and that is wearing an overshirt. And then that gets you like multiple days out of your overshirt, because you can talk yourself into thinking you didn't get it sweaty, but it's really gross. So, like Katie was saying, we have these dry sacks for things that you're trying to keep dry or you're trying to keep the stink in. But our clothing is just packed in things that, like, if our things get wet, all our clothes are going to be soaked. So this is like my underwear, and like Katie had, I have a pair of heavy socks just in case. Usually I use these on the airplane because the airplanes are cold. And then I don't know how many of them, I think I brought 5 or 6 of these things, and then maybe 4 or 5 t-shirts. And then I brought a lot of underwear because I have, I'll show you my man panties. These are the boxer briefs I got from Uniqlo. They're made of the same material as this, that Under Armour style, like wick away the sweat type thing. But these dry turbo fast. Like you wash them and then you squeeze them and you shake them and they're dry basically. So they're really good for travel because if you have to, wash something or whatever, then you don't have to wait hours and hours and hours.
I am watching you fold right now and it is ridiculous.
You just gotta roll it into a tube. So, and that's the other thing, I don't care about wrinkles. Like, I mean, I'm a scrub, so whatever. Roll it into a tube and then I just jam it into this thing. Balada, you are packed. And you can bring a lot of underwear. To me, that's the most important thing. You gotta have some fresh panties, otherwise you'd be feeling dank, right? So that's what I have for that, and then we've got this other little compartment thingy, cube, and again, clothes. I have 2 pairs of shorts, and then some t-shirts.
And like basketball shorts.
Basketball shorts.
Not shorty shorts.
Yeah, not short shorts. Basketball shorts, but again, they dry quickly. That's really important, like, to me, as far
The only thing that doesn't dry quickly are the pants you're wearing.
Yeah,
those are our nightmare for laundry.
These are pretty bad. This is the only pair of pants I brought, which is kind of nuts, but, like, I figured if something tragic happens, I'll just be wearing my shorts, and that'll be alright. We have 2 towels. These are like kind of quick dry, some sort of quick dry material stuff. They're not the greatest to use, but they do dry quickly. They're very functional. So we have just 2, like 1 for each of us. And then I have like a fleece like what Katie was wearing. I don't know if a fleece is the right word, but it's
the right word.
Columbia like jacket thing, whatever. It's ugly, it's old, but again, it does the job. I wear it on the bike.
truck is going to come in front of you and it's going to splash mud all over you, and who cares?
Yeah. And I carry this little fancy scarf as well sometimes. I want to keep that stylish thing going on without getting the sunburn in my neck, so that's what I fit up with this. Let's see. We're trying to kind of just like get through this just to show people like an idea. What else are we going to want to talk about? Katie is like, show me.
Toiletries are quite just keep it minimal down here. Toothbrushes. Get the local toothpaste. It's very fun. Get the local soaps. This one smells like lemon.
Yeah, you get to experience that smell and stuff. It's fun to smell those
things.
But
I also started thinking to myself, why aren't we getting liquid? We could just be getting liquid. And so now I think I'm going to get liquid in the future.
I don't know. I think a bar goes further. Because we don't carry a wash towel. Because we're white people. Because we're white people. White people don't use washcloths, man.
If you're Eric, you need to bring 4,000 Q-tips.
It's very important. I don't like having wet ears.
If you're Eric, you also need to bring Listerine. This is the Eric pile. I wouldn't bring these if it was just me. I would roll.
Yeah.
I would hope that I could find these along the way. But detergent.
Yeah, deodorant. Y'all, secret. This is my jam. I've been jamming this for like 20 years.
If you want to keep things small, you and your partner need to use the same stuff.
We just share, man. It's all good.
Because you're going to take up double the space if you want to be a boy or a girl. If you could just be something in the middle, then it'll be fine. Shampoo, you're going to run into the fact that you're going to need that for yourself. They're not going to provide it for you at some of these cheap places. Floss, hairbrush, some other...
This is just like soap and stuff we've gotten from hotels that we've just... Yeah, that's all that's left in there.
You'll start collecting those small soaps along the way because you'll get to a hotel, they don't provide it for you, you don't know where the convenience store is, and now you're boned and you have no soap and you smell like crap because you've been on a bike all day.
Can you show me where your makeup bag is?
If you wear makeup, you best keep it small. Like, I'm talking like eyeliner and some foundation.
Yeah, that sounds like a Sharpie, man. You can just get that done with a Sharpie and some pancake mix.
Yeah, the more you care, the more you're going to put on you. And you're going to be weighing a whole lot.
Yeah. I mean, you're traveling, y'all. I mean, some people want to look pretty. I'm not talking down about it, but, like, if you're going to go on a bike trek around a jungle, like, I wouldn't worry too much about being, like, ridiculously pretty.
You're going to be pretty because you're out there doing it.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't even think, maybe we're just scrubs, man.
You know what I think's sexy? A little sweaty.
Being a little sweaty?
Yeah.
Maybe it is. So this is a hip sack. Well, we call it a hip sack, but it's like,
actually
you're supposed to wear it like this and then hide it underneath your shirt. But when you do that, you have like, you have this compartment here, so we never do that. And what we ended up doing, in this country, it's so safe that we're not that concerned about getting robbed. But if
inside is our passports.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't talk about that. I keep some spare cash in here, and then our passports are in here. Speaking of spare cash, there's 2 Singaporean dollars.
That's somehow not going to help us.
We didn't even go to Singapore. Anyway, and yeah, some of our Japan like stuff is in here too, like our train cards and stuff, and some cash from Japan that I had in my wallet. I just put it in here and guard it with your life, basically. And on this trip, it was pretty safe. So that lived inside of this bag, which basically lives on me all the time, 24 hours a day, like when I'm not sleeping, like on the bike, at restaurants, like I hold on to this bag like it's like my child. And I keep that inside this bag and with other things that are super, super important. I'll show you in a minute. But when we were traveling in countries that are a little shadier and you're worried about like perhaps getting robbed, what I'll do is I'll take anything that's paper, wrap it in a Ziploc bag.
If you don't, you will get sweat on it, or it will rain and you will have a floppy passport.
And then you can see that this fits here, and I put it in my pants, and then you can't see it, like it disappears.
It's really true, you can't see it, and if you like really want one butt cheek to be a little bit more voluptuous.
Yeah, you got that thing, you got a little more hip, you can kick it out like that. And it's usually we will carry one of these each, and like one of our credit cards is here, one of them is in hers, her passport is in hers, mine is there. So you have like a division of important things. So if you lose one somehow, then the other person has a credit card to get money out of the ATM. Like that's really important. Like try to split up stuff as much as you possibly can, especially if you're someplace where you're like, this place is a little bit sketchy, you know what I'm saying? So that's what we usually do with these, and they're really handy. We take them on every trip we go on, basically. Other things that go in here, so we have a bit of a unique situation because we created these video series. So I have to think about things a little bit differently than like normal tourists do, because I have to maintain like information.
Data.
Like, I have to have backups. I have to have extra cameras. This is another one of basically what Kyde is holding. It's an older model, but like it's a little Sony camera. This is the type of thing we shoot everything with. So we have a second one, because if that one vanishes, we gotta be able to keep making video. So we have one of these, and then somewhere
I have the waterproof
purse,
camera.
Yeah, Katie's got a bag similar to this, and it has a waterproof camera in it, so when we're on the bike and it's raining, we can keep shooting, and then she's able to take and put that into dry sacks and stuff. So other than that, I carry this little guy, and this is basically all of my recording gear in it. On an emergency dry sack. So if it starts to rain like randomly, like it's not, you just start stuffing stuff into here and you hopefully are okay. And then I have extra SD cards, extra batteries for the cameras, and a little charger for the batteries. And then this is a light that I have that is like ridiculously bright. And I just like, it's just nice to have another light, right? And then a selfie stick, and a little tripod that we barely ever use that is in here that honestly I don't even think we use it the whole trip.
Yep.
And then just paper, and I don't even know, there's some change in here and some earplugs and stuff. Nothing really like monumental, but like when we shoot these video series, we don't use that much gear. Like this is about it. And then we have electronic stuff that I will show you, and it's a little bit different than it used to be. We used to carry a netbook with us, but it's so old and slow, we've tried to come up with a new solution. So if do you think you can, is the light okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I don't have a cell phone, I carry this tablet. So this is my Nexus 7. I already showed the spare camera. This is a really awesome battery backup that we have, this line fuel thing. It's like huge, the amount of like storage it can have. It's pretty heavy, it's really dense, it can be used as a weapon, has a light on it. And it'll charge our cameras like 10 times or something, like all 3 of them. Like just keep charging them before it runs out. So this is really cool because sometimes you're places you don't have electricity, and that works out really well. And then I have a plethora of USB cables that I just kind of stuffed into a bag randomly. And then I have a bunch of power jacks, like for just straight USB. I realize we don't have everything we have charges off USB now, which is amazing. We had an old waterproof camera that didn't do that. It charged off a wall. You had to bring its own adapter. I'll never do that again. Everything has to charge off USB. It's so handy. And then we have these guys. And you can get these when you come to a country. This is just the adapter from Malaysia. Actually, Malaysia requires this plug too. So then you have like these things, and then this thing goes into there, and well, it's nonsense. But these are like all very cheap, like less than $1 for a bunch of these things. And you can get these in country. So don't go The voltage when you're charging with USB doesn't matter. Like, you can look at it on the little plug and it says like 110 to 240 or whatever it is. Like, if it says that, it works basically worldwide. You don't need voltage converters anymore. Like, computers can take worldwide voltage. Most electronic devices can. I mean, double check before you plug it in. But the only thing voltage converters are for are like old appliances and stuff, like hair dryers. And
yeah.
we had a beard trimmer that died once, like that kind of thing is really what it's for. So don't worry about it. You just need these adapters. It's just change the size of the plug. Oh, and then this was really cheap. This is a plug for Malaysia. You can see it has that third piece, and it's got 2 USB ports on the top. I bought this here. It was less than $1, and it's been very, very, very handy.
$2.50.
$2.50 was, oh, it was $2.50.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Still worth it.
Yeah.
And more dry sacks. Like, I can't tell you, bring these things. They're great for just categorizing things. Like, things go in here, and then you put them in there, and then you put them in the bike, and it's just one more layer of, like, protection from water, which is your enemy. And then I had a, I'm not gonna talk about this too much right now, but basically, this thing is really cool, but is also awful. It's a wireless Passport Pro. It's got an SD card slot on the side. You put at the end of the day, you take your card out of your camera and you stick it in there, and it sucks all the data off of the card onto the hard drive inside of this thing. So you have a duplicate of it. So this is what I've been doing backups with, which has been pretty badass. And then you can plug something like this into one of its USB ports and make another backup out to it. Well, that was working it was sort of working, and then this died. So that drive started clicking, and now this is where all of our data is, and we hope we don't lose this. But this has been a love it, hate it relationship. Just to sum it up, if you do want to do something professional with this, buy 2 of these things and travel with 2 of them and make 2 copies of everything. Don't deal with transferring things off of it. It's a pain in the ass. So maybe I'll make a video about that in the future where it explains it more. I don't know. And then more little battery backups. Katie's got one too. This has got a solar panel on it. It's kind of cool.
It looks really cool and it acts really cool, but like it doesn't really charge up that quick.
Yeah. Do we have? I mean, does that show basically? It seems like a lot of stuff, but consider this is 2 people's worth of things.
Okay, and I'm the navigator. Like, Eric holds on to the handlebars and goes. So I have to have certain things on me that make it so that we can go to places. I have our guidebook on me at all times so that, you know, if we're going somewhere in particular, I need to show somebody a word that I don't understand. We're trying to get there. I've got that on me. In my front pocket, I've got Clark. And Clark helps us. He has maps.me, and that is our GPS offline maps system. And when riding, I will put him into this his own little personal dry sack, which works amazing. Like, if you want to get one of these, Moco, this is fantastic. And I've had it for a little bit.
You can use the screen even though it's got plastic there. It's amazing.
I had it for a while and hadn't used it, and I kind of just sat there thinking, oh, it's going to be terrible, it's going to be terrible. And then once I started using it, it was like it wasn't even there. And it's fantastic. We did have few rainy days.
Yeah, you were driving down the rain looking at the internet.
What's great, so trying to order pizza. What's great, it has a necktie on it, so it's just hanging. Before, I used to put something on here and I would try to put it in my pocket and things would fall out and it would be bad.
And then the camera has got like a wrist strap. It's kind of hard to see it there, but
I put it on the carabiner.
Just clips onto the carabiner, and then you've got the squid.
Start forming the squid of multiple items, selfie sticks and stuff like that. I've got that, and sunscreen, toilet paper, you in the third world.
I don't know if I call it the third world, but sometimes there ain't toilet paper.
If toilet paper is not provided at the toilet, that qualifies the place as third world to me. Seriously, dry sacks.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. You got to have all your dry sacks. And then if it starts raining, I switch out our lovely camera for this waterproof.
What happens is this camera I'm holding ends up going into this dry sack, and then this one gets hooked onto the squid. Yeah. And then she can keep filming.
I just make that swap really quick, and we're still filming as we're going down the road. And that's what's going on in my little day bag.
Okay. So is there anything else that we have? Look at this explosion we've got. Oh, shoes. I have to
pack this out.
Shoes. We don't bring extra shoes. This is what we have.
Yeah, like we went mountain climbing in these shoes. and I'm sure that they're not the right shoes for it, and it was a little more difficult to get your feet into certain places, but they're very good. You need quick drying shoes, you need shoes that at least get you a good bit off the ground. You're gonna walk through some back crap at some point.
And these lock on the back and on the top, like they're strapped onto my foot. It's not flip-flops. So that really matters a lot, I think.
Yeah.
And then we will go out to the bike once we get all this packed up, and I'll show you how it all gets onto the bike. And then that's about it. Just to be clear, this is how we pack for a bike. When we are traveling like without the bike, I have another backpack. It's quite small. It's like a school backpack basically, and some of this stuff just gets put into it. And she mentioned she has some clothes, but it's not much. You have like a skirt and like
a pair of shorts.
It's really not much stuff, and that's what's in my bag right now. But my bag is basically empty. We packed really light for this trip, so we took that. And the bike rental guy is really cool, and that's happened to us every time where we're like, can we leave a bag here for a week? And they're like, yeah, whatever. So that's what we end up usually doing. But honestly, if we had been worried about that, we could have just brought this amount of stuff, and we could have done the entire trip. So let's get this packed up, and then I'll show you the bike. I just looked down and I found something else. This is like what I would consider a luxury item that we carry with us. This is a pair of binoculars. And it is totally like unnecessary to be carrying it, but they're so cool sometimes so you can see something so far away. They're amazing binoculars. But this is like one of the very few things that we don't need to have that does happen to be in this bag area. Like, if I had to like get rid of something and like for some reason, like space-wise, this would be like, okay, we don't need to have the binoculars. Everything else has kind of been whittled down to necessary. Especially these guys here. You can see Katie like stuffing the bag full right now. And how everything is kind of, you see, like inside of dry sacks, things are just compartmentalized. So that if you need like a specific thing, you just pull that one bag out and like, bam, you've got it. Another packing trip, as we pack, I'm just starting to notice, like, hey, I've got ideas about things I'm doing, like, maybe this makes sense. But, like, all the cables bundled together, hair tie. Just slam the hair tie on there, bang, you're good to go. And then I will actually hair tie that to this. And this is that drive with the SD card slot on the side of it. That thing is bundled with its power plug and everything inside of here, and it lives in my bag where it will not ever get hurt, hopefully. Oh my God, please, no, we'll lose everything. Other than that, like, these are just little odds and ends. All these little plugs and stuff go into this dry sack here, and if this drive was alive and I cared, it would go in there as well. And then that would be the other electronics thing. And then I will take this drive, which in theory had a copy of this drive, like they were mirrored. And then this goes with Katie, and this one goes with me. And then we have 2 copies separated. Like I said before about the money and everything, that's very important to us as far as data goes. Like 2 copies, 2 different places. Hope we don't both get robbed. All right, it took just almost exactly 10 minutes.
To pack it? It only took 10 minutes?
Yeah, you got that packed in 10 minutes. So we took that entire explosion and condensed it into that fat bastard. And then some of it's in here in 10 minutes. So
the more stuff you have, the longer it's going to take you to get out.
Yeah, I think that about people that are carrying kitchen sinks.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, how long did it take them to pack?
Yeah, and it takes us about 10 minutes, and it's just because everything has its little place that it goes, and then it's Tetris into the bag, Tetris into your bag, and once that's over, you're out the door.
And you have the stuff you do, and I have the stuff I do. Like, we have our system built.
We very much have our system built. Like,
and each one takes about the same amount of time.
It does. Like, I'm on toiletries and bag packing, you're on electronics, and like...
Being pretty.
And being pretty.
Yeah.
So it seems like I got more on my list.
What? Man, it's hard to say this good looking.
Yeah, true.
Okay. And then we go. Oh, you know, I want to be clear, like, if you're traveling someplace where it's really cold or whatever, like, you're going to need more clothes. We can do this because we're in a tropical area. And we don't need snow jackets and whatnot. We don't need, like, you know, boots. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the nature of what we're doing is kind of helps us pack this light. So don't feel bad if, like, you're, like, you know, hiking in some sort of snowy mountaintops. Like, you're like, man, I gotta get it down a little bit. Like, you're doing all right. Just bring your big bag. Here's Costanza, and you can see, like I said, this is a little Honda bike, 125 cc's. It is a semi-automatic bike, which means that you have to shift with your foot down here, but there's no clutch, so it's really, really easy. This particular bike has got a rack on the back, which is really awesome for what we do. And you can see Katie has strapped that fat bastard on there with a couple of bungee cords, just 2 of them. And she can jam a water on there. We jammed multiple waters up top in the past, where they will just fit underneath the bungee cords. And then you're hauling water that's easy to get to. And we actually have got a thing of fuel on this one. We haven't done that ever before, but this country turned out to be a good idea. Gas stations can be hard to find. So
I would almost highly promote that anytime
from now on. Agreed.
Ever.
Yeah, agreed. And I'm drying some shorts here. I went swimming earlier and just want to dry some drawers. Where's the bike key, babe? Can you open the thing?
No.
I think you can. So this is the gas tank, and then this is the driest area on the bike without a doubt. So this is where, when we are traveling a long distance, I will put hard drives and things like that, get jammed in here. This gets closed. One of the hard drives stays in our bag. So if the bike gets stolen, we still have everything. But that's where we will stick things when we need them to be dry for 100%, like, has to happen type of thing. And other than that, like, I sit on the front, Katie sits in the back. We have had bikes in the past that didn't have a rack on the back, and in those cases, I have sat here and then held it in between my knees, like it sits here, and I hold it in place between my legs. And that has been successful as well in the past. That's basically how everything works. That's how we make the whole bike situation roll. Right now, it's not gonna rain and we're not going far, so she doesn't have the condom on Gerber. But it has this like thing here, and it has that gray skin that can wrap around it. And then when she sits here on her bike with the poncho on, the back of the poncho can go over him as well for added protection. But real talk, we are running out of time to return this bike, so we got to go. I hope that makes sense, and if anybody has any specific questions about anything, then just hit us up and we'll try to help you understand it a little bit more. Costanza.
Costanza.
Out, y'all.
What about me?
We've now dropped the bike off and we are picking up my bag. And this is my bag. I love this bag. This is what I went hitchhiking in Japan with. This is all I carried then too. It's just really nice. It has the water pockets and it has a zipper on the side that goes down. And at the moment, there's not very much in here. There's like a couple of things. Pair of shorts of Katie's, a skirt of Katie's, and a jacket that you brought because we came from Japan where it's super cold. So she had brought this and stuffed this in there.
Also works as a good pillow.
You do have extra shoes. You brought more shoes. You were lying to everybody.
Yep.
These are like some flats that you got. Is that what they're called? Flats?
Yeah.
Yeah, what up?
Fashion boy.
Yeah, fashion man. Tim Gunn and whatnot over up in here. And that's all that's in here. And again, like all of this is sort of extracurricular, so we didn't bring it with us on the bike loop. And now we're just gonna take and sort of split the load up so that I have some weight and she has some weight and it's a little more fair. Because right now all I'm hauling is peanuts and that's probably not fair for Katie. This week I went and I edited this video about packing in Borneo and realized that it just kind of ended. It didn't really have anything to tie it up. So I just thought I'd make a little video right now to tie it up. And we happen to just be at Disney Sea shooting another video that you'll be seeing in the future. So I thought that that would be kind of like a fun little teaser. You can see the mountain from Disney Sea like right behind us. What's his name?
Mount Prometheus.
Prometheus. But yeah, I hope that this was like useful for people. I get this, people ask us a lot, like, hey, well, how do you pack? So I hope that this is going to give people a little bit of insight into how we pack for that type of adventure. But we're about to go to Europe in a month, and we're going to be traveling in the winter, and we're not going to be spending a lot of time on motorbikes, I don't suspect. So we're going to be living in a different world.
Yeah,
we're going to have to pack.
I don't even know how to start that world.
I think that's going to be a much different experience, and like we're going to have to pack with coats, and we're going to have to pack for cold weather, and we're going to have to just the whole situation is going to be different. So we're going to be retooling that for those types of adventures. But if you're going to be going on a bike adventure or going on an adventure someplace where it's warm or whatever, I think that a lot of what we can show could be of value to some people. So if you are interested in more adventures that we would have packed like that on, I will put links in the description of this video that you can jump into. That, like, we've done a bunch of bike trips, so if you want to jump down a rabbit hole of different types of bike trips and stuff that we've done that have been packed similarly to the Borneo adventure, then you'll get to check those out, just to hop into that from there. And I don't know, other than that, I hope everybody enjoyed the Borneo adventure. And I hope everybody's looking, yeah, I did. Yeah, it was amazing. And I hope everybody's looking forward to the Europe adventure and the video at Disney Sea that we're shooting today.
Adventure.
We're having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Little spoiler, we got to open the park. What in the world?